Hey everybody, Jake here and welcome to the hobby. I hope you guys are excited because this is going to be an action-packed filled episode because we have so many topics to cover in today's news video. We have the $200,000 first edition base set booster box pack opening that was on Logan Paul's stream. We have a ton of record-breaking auction sales, and we even have talks of Hidden Fates and Champions Path Elite Trainer boxes being reprinted right now as we speak. And I think it's a really great time to cover what the future of the Pokemon card hobby is going to look like. So this is going to be a super fun and really interesting episode, and you're definitely not going to want to miss it. So let's get right into the topics. First big topic on today's video is, of course, Logan Paul's $200,000 first edition base set booster box live on stream. I watched the whole entire thing. It was like 3 hours long. The whole entire thing aired on October 9th, and I was watching it with people on Discord. I was reading the subreddits. I was following along. I was listening to the chat, which was hilarious, and it was a lot of fun. Some of the first big things that I noticed, and I wrote everything down on an actual notebook as I was going through the live stream. The first big one was that a lot of people said $200,000 for a first edition base set booster box is ridiculous, and it is a record-setting price. But the hobby is growing older and older, and I knew it was going to happen. It did not surprise me at all. Logan sold out every single booster pack inside of the box break for $11,000 per booster pack, which is definitely expensive, but not outlandish. It wasn't something ridiculous as a lot of people were saying it was. And I knew the packs were going to sell out because a lot of people are going to want to be in on this experience. Even if you don't get the full value of your booster pack, there is more to it than that. You get notoriety, you get to be a part of the experience. Can you imagine if you're the guy that gets your booster pack open with a Charizard, which did happen, by the way. There were so many people that bought into these booster packs. Some of the big names include Unlisted Leaf, as well as, of course, Mr. Beast, who purchased 2 booster packs. The whole entire thing was a big part for charity. It was a part of a charity event, and I am really glad that it raised over $100,000 for mental health awareness, which is really, really cool. And Logan Paul said that he donated over $50,000 by himself, so huge kudos to him. Some of the live notes that I have written down was that there was peak over 300,000 viewers, so 300,000 people watch a booster pack or a booster box opening of Pokemon cards being opened live on stream, which is insane. We've had large booster box openings before on some other channels like PokeRev, and even then you were reaching like peaks, like the very peak of around like maybe 20 to 25,000 viewers at the most. This one blew every other metric out of the waters. Some of the things that I have written down as Logan was opening up the packs. A lot of people were saying you need gloves. You do not need gloves, especially when you're opening up Pokemon cards. There are certain gloves that people say you should wear, but what I've noticed with wearing gloves is you can't really feel how much pressure you're putting down on the cards, and sometimes you can actually damage the cards without even realizing it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using just your bare hands. And Logan was ripping a lot of pack wrappers. The pack wrappers by themselves are worth quite a bit of money. He said it right on the stream, the empty first edition base set booster box, which is rare on its own, and it's a great display piece, which is why just an empty first edition booster box is going for $2,000. The wrappers are also pretty darn expensive, so he was really damaging them. He did get better at it as he did more and more pack opening, and by far, this was one of the best first edition base set booster box I have ever seen, and it might be the best. Someone might say they had another one where they got 2 Charizard, but this was a really like great booster box. We have a first edition base set Venusaur, of course they're all first edition. We had 2 Blastoise open. We had a Charizard, so we have all the big 3 Pokemons open. And we have 3 Chanseys, which is really cool. 1 Alakazam as well as 1 Mewtwo. So those were the heavy hitters. Someone mentioned, I think he had a couple of Pokemon experts in the stream with him, and they kept saying that these Bulbasaurs were worth $30,000, and I could even see it inside of Logan's eyes where he was like, are you guys sure about this? I don't know about that, but I'm just going to trust you. I have never seen a Bulbasaur sell for $30,000. Maybe someone can fact check me on that, but for a Bulbasaur first edition base set PSA 10, you're looking at maybe $6,000, $7,000. On most occasions, Bulbasaur would sell for around $1,000 to $5,000 max. So I don't know anyone that's buying a Bulbasaur for $30,000. Even the ones on stream, which were error cards, they have a couple of errors on the Bulbasaur. Even then, I don't know anyone that's dropping $30,000 for Bulbasaur. Some of the heavy hitters for sure was Alakazam and Mewtwo. Each one will probably sell for around $10,000 to $20,000. Depending on the grade really does matter for first edition base set Pokemon cards. No one's going to drop 10 grand or 20 grand on a Pokemon card without authentication and grading, because the difference between a gem mint card and a kind of mint card is thousands of dollars, so it's a really big deal. The next big one is Chansey. Chansey, they kept saying on stream, is worth $30,000 and maybe even more. And that really is dependent on the grade. Chansey is one of the hardest first edition base set Pokemon card to get graded in PSA 10 or BGS 10. Chansey has always been one of those really hard cards to grade. So most often than not, you're going to get an 8 or a 9. And an 8 or a 9 Chansey is probably worth $4,000, maybe $3,000 to $5,000. But if you do get a Gem Mint 10 Chansey, then you are looking at $30,000 because they are just so rare. The ones on stream probably around the $5,000 ranges, just because you do not get a Gem Mint Chansey very often. Some of the other big one was definitely Venusaur. Venusaur is worth around $20,000 to $30,000 on the high end if you're looking at a PSA 10 or BGS 10. Most likely and not, you're probably looking at more like 10 to 20 for Venusaur. Blastoise is another super cool card. There was 2 Blastoise open on the stream, and Blastoise is worth more than Venusaur. Blastoise will sell for around $20,000 to $30,000 depending on the grade. If you get a PSA 9, maybe you only get like 10 to 15K, but if you do get a PSA 10, 30K plus is totally within the realm of possibility. And of course, the big one of the night was a Charizard was in fact pulled, and Charizard is a monster. The range for the price on a first edition Charizard is really varied. It completely depends on condition. The one on the stream looked really good. That was a really good Charizard. I think it has a good chance of being a Gem Mint card, and a Gem Mint Charizard is probably worth around $150,000 plus, which is really insane. PSA 9 still worth quite a bit of money. The prices on these cards are just going up and up as so many people are joining in on the hobby. Jumping off the topic of Logan Paul, now we can dive right into Iconic Auctions, which was an auction that was held on the exact same night as the stream, and it showcased some really expensive Pokemon card. And there were 3 big ones that were sold. This was the first edition Venusaur, first edition Blastoise, as well as the first edition Charizard. The first edition Venusaur PSA 10 sold for $23,000, and all of these are record prices, which is really amazing, but I'm not too surprised by it at this point. Pokemon is such a fast-growing hobby right now that every single new auction you see for these Pokemon card is just another record break. So Venusaur sold for $23,000. Then we had Blastoise, another great card. PSA 10 first edition Blastoise sold for $31,000. If you didn't know, $31,000 is pretty much the price point of a Charizard from 2019. So here's the big one. A PSA 10 first edition base set Charizard sold at Iconic Auction for $183,000, which is ludicrous. That is an insane markup. First edition base set Charizard was selling literally last year for $30,000. maybe $40,000 or $50,000 at its very peak from 2019. And here we are within 1 year, and you're seeing a 300% growth on some of the prices over these cards, which is insane. And I've said this before in prior videos, but it will not surprise me one day when these cards are going to be worth $1 million. Pokemon is such a popular hobby, and so many people who grew up with it are now wealthy. There are so many people that were 10 years old 20 years ago and are now in their 30s or 40s, and now they're millionaires and they want to have their childhood back. And people in these conditions are really willing to pay pretty much top dollars. There are so many rich people getting into the hobby right now. It's pretty actually insane. You got movie actors, you got tons of people from Hollywood, you have Saudi princes, you literally have executives from Germany. So there are just so many people getting in the hobby, and it's a really, really interesting time. The next big topic on today's video is, of course, the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box being reprinted, as well as the Champions Path Elite Trainer box also being reprinted, which is really shocking. Both of these products are, of course, super popular, and I am sure some collectors out there who are holding a lot of Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes or Champions Path Elite Trainer box are not very happy to hear that these Elite Trainer boxes are being reprinted, but I'm actually looking at this in a very positive outlook. The first big thing is that I was very surprised by it because Pokemon has never done a reprint for Elite Trainer boxes before. There's a couple of reasons for that. The first big one is that it's very difficult to reprint an Elite Trainer box. It's not just a bunch of packs. There's a bunch of logistic issues that comes with an Elite Trainer box. There are sleeves, there's dices, there's just a ton of stuff that goes inside of an Elite Trainer box that makes it difficult to reprint. So it's just easier to know the numbers that they're gonna have right away. So the fact that there are gonna be reprints of both is kind of a big deal, but I think it really speaks to a positive side of the hobby, which shows that we're growing. There's just so many people entering the hobby. We have more than twice as many people collecting Pokemon cards this year as we did in 2019. The hobby has grown so much and is so big that the same amount of supply from 2019 is just not going to fly. Even if Pokemon increased the number of Pokemon cards from last year to this year by like 20% or 30%. And these are projections, right? If you're someone that's working at Pokemon, you're gonna say, oh yeah, we're seeing the hobby is growing, let's print 20% more cards. That's still not enough. There's just so many people entering the hobbies, and I know this because I'm looking at the lines at the store, I'm seeing people buy the cards, and the demand for Pokemon cards, both modern and vintage right now, is really strong. With so many people entering the hobby, I think Pokemon has to do a reprint. And they sent out a tweet recently saying, hey, we know that Champions Path products are currently scarce and more products are coming soon. And I said, hey, this sounds like a nod at a reprint. And a lot of people were saying, you know, like that could mean anything. But I knew it was gonna be a reprint. They just had to do a reprint, and these are both super popular products. They're super new too. Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box is 1 year old, and Champions Path Elite Trainer boxes came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. We did a giveaway with Express Pokemail, gave away some Elite Trainer boxes. So yeah, these products are really new. A Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box should not be reaching $300, $400 for a box. It's just insane. And I do think people need to be able to enjoy the products before it really appreciates. I'm a very long-term thinking collector. I don't think about things from year to year, you know, like it's nice that this was a great year, but there will be poor year in the future. And I'm really thinking far outwards with a lot of my collection. So I'm literally thinking like 10 or 20 years out. Don't even ask me about prices in the next year. It's just too soon. A lot of people are asking where some of these modern booster boxes are going to be in a year. We just don't know. Pokemon could reprint any modern set anytime they want. And in most cases, I'm actually in agreement with their reprints because it just shows demand and the need for more products within the hobby. The last big topic on today's video is what the future outlook for the hobby currently looks like. And I am currently very, very positive outlook on the hobby right now. I've always been a glass half full kind of guy, and right now I'm really elated. I've never been more happy to be inside the hobby. I've never been more engaged in a hobby, and this is such a fun and rewarding hobby. As you guys might know, if you join in on discussions, there's just so many exciting topics right now. You can definitely join the Pokemon Discord group. We have large communities built around finding people good deals for Pokemon cards. And if you're listening, you know who you are. So these are some really cool Discord groups. And there's tons of subreddits, tons of forums, tons of Facebook groups. You can find so many people to be in the Pokemon card hobby. It's never been easier. 10 or 15 years ago, it was really difficult to find anyone to even communicate to about Pokemon cards. But nowadays, super easy. Drop me a comment and I'll probably reply if you have a question. So it's super easy to find anyone to talk to about the hobby. It's super easy to trade. It's super easy to collect. You can find Japanese Pokemon cards worldwide right now. It's never been easier to buy products from Japan. So it's just a ton of positive outlook from me. And as I stated before, I think as a hobby, Pokemon cards are still very young. A lot of people ask, hey, Pokemon cards look pretty darn expensive. Is it too late to start collecting? And no, it is not too late to collect. Feel free to collect Pokemon cards whenever. Collect what you enjoy. Don't worry too much about the prices. Buy cards that you like, open packs if you feel like it. Don't worry too much about the risk involved. Just have some fun, you know. Don't think about it as an investment. I certainly don't. And there are tons of fun things to do in the hobby right now. It really is in its infancy. The hobby is still very young. There's a lot of leg left in the Pokemon card hobby. It is not dying. You're not going to see Pokemon cards disappear in 10 years. I'd be shocked to see if it disappeared in 30 years. It's just too popular and too in demand. I mean, Logan Paul's stream had 300,000 people. Even if they're not collecting Pokemon cards, at the very least, these are people that are engaged and curious and interested in the hobby, which is really, really huge. And that's really a first step in joining the hobby. I think there's just gonna be more and more collectors joining the hobby, especially next year. Pokemon is having their 25th anniversary for the hobby next year, and we know that there's going to be a lot of amazing products released with tons of cool cards. So it's just a really, really exciting time to be a Pokemon card collector. If you guys have any comments on today's video, let me know down in the comments, because I know we covered so many subjects. If you disagree with something, or if you agree with something, or if you have anything to add to discussion at all, let me know. And trust me, I read every single comment. So I really appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.